तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंहो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. We'll discuss a little bit about what have we received. So this is a little bit about that. The 13th chapter of the Gita is considered to be very philosophical, and Bhagavad Gita is also called Gita Upanishad. So in the 13th chapter, there are the 6 terms which Arjuna asks. What is Kshetra? What is Kshetragya? What is Purusha Prakriti? And Jnana and Geya. So Purusha usually refers to the Supreme Lord throughout the Gita, throughout the Vedic literature. But in 13th chapter, there are 2 definitions of Purusha. One is the Jiva also. So how come Krishna himself calls the Jiva as Purush? Actually Purush is the Lord himself. Because when the Jiva comes to the material world, from the spiritual world, he comes with an enjoying tendency. So he is not a Purush by his position, but he is a Purush by his disposition. His attitude is that of Purush. That's why Krishna also calls him Purush. And in one sense, we are all servants, but we come here in the mood of a Purush. So Hanumanji, when he meets Lord Ram, he changes his look. Actually, Hanumanji is in the body of a Vanar. But when he meets Lord Ramchandra for the first time, then he comes in the guise of a Brahman. So who changed his disguise? Who changed his looks? Hanumanji. And he's meeting Ram and Lakshman for the first time in that Leela. Ram and Lakshman are going in the southward direction searching for Sita Devi. So Hanumanji changed his disguise. Ram and Lakshman have not changed his disguise. So who should not recognize whom? From our logical perspective, if Hanumanji has changed his disguise, then Ram should not recognize Hanuman. But actually Hanuman does not recognize. So Hanumanji goes and says, you too, you are dressed in the dress of a renunciant, but actually you look like Kshatriyas, and I can see the marks of the bow. When a Kshatriya carries a bow, it rests on the shoulder. So there's a rubbing here. So there is a mark here on the Kshatriya shoulders. So So I can see the mark of a bow there, and you know you have the gait of an elephant, strongly built men like this. So you look like Kshatriyas, but you're dressed like Brahmanas, and you have jata and all, which usually hermits and sages have. So who are you? And Ram does not even reply. You know why Ram does not reply? Ram is angry actually. Ram is hurt. When somebody who's close to you picks up a disguise. Why? What for? And now in that disguise he's coming and asking you, who are you? So he tells Lakshman, you answer, I don't know to answer. So the main crux of this point is that when we change our disguise, we change our look, then we are not able to recognize Ram. It should be otherwise. But because Ram is in the heart, so Ram recognizes everyone. So you and me also, in the spiritual world, we were servants of the Supreme Lord. Just like Hanumanji is a servant of the Supreme Lord. But when we came to the material world, we took the face of Purusha. We are in the mood of an enjoyer. So Ram still recognizes us, but we don't recognize Ram. So when we go in front of Gopinath, then we say, who is he? So then somebody has to tell us, he's the Supreme Lord. So, okay, I thought he's just a politician. Or some people say he's just like a very, very popular character or something, right? So this is very interesting that when we change our look, then we are not able to recognize the Lord. For a drama to be best, can anyone tell me 1 point each? What is required for a good drama? What all different things need to be worked upon? Script. So the dialogue should be very nice and matching to the characters. Yes. Disguise should be good, very good. Or what else? Yeah. So what did you say on Zoom?
Add for scriptures.
Yeah, sorry, your voice is muffled, not able to hear clearly. So, dialogues need to be good, script. The character selection should be good. If a thin man is playing a police, and a hefty man is playing a thief, and the police says, hey, abhi chori karega to tujhe andar dal dunga, so everyone is going to have a laugh. Right? So, character selection has to be good. And makeup has to be good, right? Also, you know what? The background, in the Radha Gopinath Drama Festival, you see, when there's a palace scene, it actually looks like a palace. And when there's forest scene, then it looks like a, so, that also creates, the light effects also creates, right? So the background also has to be proper. So the actor, Jiva, has made a good makeup, that I'm the enjoyer. But if he comes to this material world and the setting of the material world is not as per the mood of an enjoyer, it won't work like that. So if you come here as an enjoyer and the material world is designed in such a way to smash your hopes every single time, you won't survive for long. You'll go into depression. So the Supreme Lord not only allows us that freedom to have the mask of an enjoyer, but the Supreme Lord also, in one sense, allows the material world to kind of support us to some extent. Kavi Khushi. Mostly gum. But at least Kavi Khushi is there, right? Can you imagine somebody's life? It is just Maya Devi beating him up. Every moment, anything he does, he gets a beating. It's quite depressing actually. And the mother and father, a good mother and father, sometimes the child is rebellious. Right? But finally they say, if we also become rebellious and if we also kind of beat him up and reject him, where will he go? So it's not that they accept his misbehavior, but they kind of tolerate his misbehavior. Right? So similarly, the Supreme Lord also in this world, actually it's a jail. We hear in the Gita course, it's a jail. Jail में एक चीज तो तुम्हारे हिसाब से होती है क्या? Does anything go as per your will in a jail? But can anyone here say, Prabhuji, in my life, not one thing went as per my will? Can go, yes, sir. Some things went as per our will. Can you imagine if that did not happen? We cannot function. Something has to be as per will. So my point is, although we are rebelling against the Supreme Lord, and because we rebelled, We are not able to recognize the Supreme, but the Supreme Lord is so kind that the material world does allow us some facilities for enjoyment. It allows us sometimes, there are these photographs where, so there are some moments in our life where we can smile. Otherwise, it would have been very difficult. So this is the Supreme Lord's kindness. So let us compare it to a drama. In a drama, there is a producer, there is a director, there is a makeup artist, there is a background artist. So who's the producer of the drama, of the living entity? And the title of this drama is I Am the Enjoyer. So who's the producer? What happened to the sound system? Suddenly it goes down, suddenly it goes up. Hare Krishna. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Who's the producer of this drama? Who created this world? The Supreme Lord. So the producer of this drama is the Supreme Lord. Who's the director? I would say the Supreme Lord, he just gives us this world, but he doesn't get into all things, right? It is Maya Devi actually. She's the director, right? And who's the script writer? Exactly, who will speak to us what? Sometimes somebody insults us, sometimes somebody supports us. Who's the script writer? Okay, yeah. You are very, thoughtful. I'm just making it a little bit interesting for the others also to think. So, it is just, it's not written in the Shastra, but I'm just saying, producer is the Lord. He gives all the money, right? Producer gives them. Director is, abhi tum bolo, abhi tum chup raho, right? So Maya Devi is like that. Scriptwriter I'm proposing is actually our own karma. Our own karma kind of makes us speak like that. And when they shoot a movie, they record it in scenes. So 2-minute scenes, 5-minute scenes, they record it, and then at the end there is editing, and all those scenes are put together, right? How do they understand which scene is before which scene? There is a small board रहता है, उसके ऊपर ना scene number and ऐसा लिखा रहता है, right? And then there is a clap boy बोलते हैं उसको. The clap boy goes, you are the actor and he will go there. Okay, scene number 23, attempt number 4. वो बार-बार करता है. Then this is the best one, right? ऐसा करेगा वो. And the recording starts. So when they edit it, they just cut that clap. But they know that attempt number 3 was better than attempt number 2. Trial rate. So the clap boy are the devatas. They abhi milna chahiye, aisa milna chahiye, right? So this is just just to help us understand. Yeah. So producer is the Supreme Lord. Maya Devi is the director. And karma is actually, the script writer, our own karma. And the devatas are like the clap boy, right? And there is this very amazing movie that is, or a drama that's going on. And, all of that is false actually. The gopis say that you are the same Krishna and we are the same gopis, but we are meeting in Kurukshetra. We are not meeting in Vrindavan. So it's not really conducive to a relationship. So we want to take you to Vrindavan. So similarly, if this whole play is not made, everything is not perfect, then it won't work out. Then we will be frustrated. So Krishna is doing it. In Yaksha Prashna is that famous conversation between Yudhishthir Maharaj and Yaksha in Mahabharata. The 4 brothers are already dead. So they went and drank water, and the Yaksha said, "This is my water, you can't drink it without my permission." So there are different questions there. Anybody heard about Yaksha Prashna? So one question is, what is the fastest object? Anybody knows the answer? Mind. Who said mind? Yeah, mind. And so one of the thing is, what is the news? In Sanskrit, it is ka varta. News kya hai? So what is the answer? Yudhishthir Maharaj gives the answer. Maya Devi is roasting the jivas on the pan of the material world. तो हिंदी में संसार के तवे पे Maya Devi is roasting the jiva. This is the news. So in essence, this is what is happening all over the world. Some planes are crashing and some missiles are being launched, whatever it is. But in essence, Yudhishthir Maharaj, the news is Maya Devi is roasting the jivas. So this is basically what is happening in our life. Anytime you felt that although many times I make a plan and I do take steps which appear to be very right, and to some extent, till some time, things do work out in my favor. But finally, at the end of it, it does not work out. There's something wrong somewhere. I make all the planning, right? So it is because finally the news is overall plan is to roast us. And then we say, Prabhu, please save me, right? And then we go back home, back to God. So, there is this story, real life story, uh, around the Second World War, the Nazi concentration camps. There was one concentration camp at a place called Krakow in Czechoslovakia, around that place. So, the modus operandus of the Nazi people was you capture families and you break the males from the females first. The females are taken to a different location, and their rings and nose rings, ear rings, finger rings, everything is snatched away. So all that wealth is taken away, and then they are killed. And the males, they are basically used as animals. They will make them work very hard because they are healthy. So then they will make them work very hard, and they go thin. And they'll make them work in extreme conditions like ice and all that. So they basically fall sick. And when they fall sick, when they're of no good use, then you kill them. That was the whole idea of Nazi. So in this Krakow, it was a male concentration camp. And one day, one of the prisoners there was thinking, I wonder where this foul smell is coming from. There's some foul smell coming. Where is this coming from? So what would happen is, in the morning, the Nazi soldiers will come. They will monitor till the evening time, and in the evening they will leave because they were taught that the Jewish people are not good people and they need to be eliminated. That was the teaching. So they would not wait at night. And in those days, 70 years back, they did not have CCTV cameras. So they left evening. So now, one of the prisoners in this concentration camp, his name was Stanislavski Lech. So Stanislavski Lech, he's talking with his friends, and they know that their wife, daughter, mother have been killed. And they're just being used like a ass or a bullock to just extract as much energy as possible. And one day they will be shot, killed. In this situation, what is the overall mood in that concentration camp? Can anybody sum it up in a single word also? Depression, frustration, anger, fear, right? It's a mix of all that. This Stanislavski Lech, he was not one of those people. He said, "Thoda sochta hu, kya hai?" And there was some foul smell coming. He said, "Kya hai? Kya hai? Dekhna padega." One day, after the guards left, in the middle of the night, he caught hold of one or two friends and they climbed on top of each other. And there was a 15 feet high wall around the concentration camp. And they peered over this, checked out what it was. You know what it was? It was a heap of dead corpses. All the males who had been killed till that time, they were dumped there outside the concentration camp. And the idea was that very soon some truck, some dumper will come, lift them up and bury them in some mass graveyard. So for multiple days, there was this heap of dead bodies. And none of those bodies had any clothes, stripped. So उसको भी बेच देंगे, कुछ तो करेंगे. So naked, dead bodies, all males, lying on top of each other. And that was the foul smell, so there was some rotting also happening. And he looked there. Now, again I'll ask all of you. I asked, even before they looked at those corpses, I asked you, what must be the overall mood in the concentration camp? So he said depression, frustration, anger, fear and all that. Now, if you are one of those people who's looking over a 15 feet high wall, somehow, just because the Nazi soldiers are no longer there, and you see that heap of corpses, some of them are stinking, some of them are rotting, it's really a very ghastly sight. What would be a typical thought that would come to your mind?
I am the next.
I am the next.
And
Anger, more anger, yes.
Disgust.
No hope.
Disgust.
Huh? Disgust.
Sadness.
Sadness. Yeah, somebody said something. इधर का थोड़ा वॉल्यूम कम है तो we are not able to capture you. So
How can God be so unfair?
yeah, this is also one thought. How can God be unfair? So this Stanislavski Lech, you know what thought he got? He thought, this is my way out. So he said, I just have to do something. That night, he took off his clothes. He went without clothes. He hid those clothes somewhere. And this way, that way, he did something. And he jumped over that wall. And he landed on that heap of dead corpses. And in the it's late night. It's not India. It's like Europe. So night is cold. So for the whole night, he's lying there, surrounded by corpses, which itself is just a scary thought. And there some of them are stinking and rotting. Can you imagine somebody in the dead of the night, dead silence, nobody to help you, surrounded by corpses. Some of them are rotting, stinking, and in that cold atmosphere, you survive. Not just physically, but emotionally also. It's maddening actually. So around sunrise, daybreak time, a truck came. Some 2 or 3 soldiers, they came, they put on gloves because they don't even want to touch those corpses, and they just picked up those bodies and put them in the truck like this. Right? And then the truck drove for some time in the jungle, and then the dumper they dumped those bodies somewhere deep in the jungle. So now, when he jumped, if he landed on top, then when they put all those corpses in the truck, where is he?
Lewis.
So in the truck, there must be a good number of bodies on top of him. So now it's cold, it's scary, it's stinking, but it's also heavy. And in general, they say that corpses weigh heavier than a living person. So all those corpses are on top of it. So, this is just to help us understand what people in certain situations in their lives have gone through. And then he's just pretending. तो gloves था ना वो, तो इसे समझ में नहीं आया warmth क्या है. Because everybody is cold, but his body must be warm. So अगर naked hands होते थे तो there's blood flowing here. But because it was gloves, and then that truck में से वो सब body से फेंक दिया and the truck left, not caring for them. So he waited for some time. He's undergoing all that weight and it stink is a foul smell and scary. Oh, right. And then after some time, when he was assured that people have left, he somehow got up from that heap and ran for 25 miles without clothes to freedom. And then he lived, of course, and then he spoke this story that this is how I escaped. So when we hear this story, any lessons to learn from this story in our life?
Survival is key.
Never give up hope.
Survival is the key. Never give up hope.
Willpower.
Willpower. Yes. Those who are silent people, would you like to speak?
Desperation.
Desperation. Our destiny, or in our words, Hindu Vedic words, our karma decides what happens to us. But we decide how we react to what happens to us. So what has already happened, the way we talked, the way we behaved, the way we took decisions, the way we did whatever we did in the past, it is determining what is happening to me right now. But how am I responding to it today will determine my future. So many of us sometimes get overwhelmed by what happens to us today, but we can't change what happens to us today because it was already programmed by us only in the past. But what we can do is choose how we respond to it. So in the darkest situations, there can be a hope of light if you want to. If you think you want to, there can be hope in the darkest situations. And if we have given up then in the funniest moments, in the happiest times, when everyone is dancing, jumping, hey, you're sitting in one corner with a morose face, and people say, what happened to you? I say, no, my life is tough. So it all depends on, what is our take, as they say. How do we look at life? So coming back to the original discussion, this was an example to get us thinking. In our life also, if we think we are being roasted by Maya Devi and life is really tough, would you like to complain about it and keep crying and keep wetting your handkerchiefs? Or would you want to make that leap of faith? He also made a leap of his legs, but we can make a leap of faith. And we can also escape the concentration camp of Maya Devi. We are right now caught in the concentration camp of Maya Devi because like a lot of things going on. So if we really want to escape it, we have to be really, really hopeful. We have to be really, really focused. We have to be really, really positive, optimistic. Anytime we feel Prabhuji, kuch nahi hoga. So sometimes we may have very low esteem about our sadhana. Prabhuji, my chanting is worst. But if you keep talking about it, my chanting is worst, my chanting is worst, no way your chanting is going to improve. Rather, it's kind of an affirmation. My chanting has been bad, it is bad, and I think it's going to be bad my whole life. But if we say, yeah, my chanting has not been good, but I want to chant good rounds. I want to remember Krishna. I want to serve Krishna. I want to please the devotees. If this is a talk that we do, then we are like a Stanislavski ledge. 15 feet high wall, your height is 5 feet. 3 times. So what is the chance? No, there is a chance. People have done extreme things with the hope for freedom. So all of us are also in the concentration camp of Maya, and if we want, we can also escape this concentration camp. So how do we escape the concentration camp of Maya? How can somebody escape the concentration camp of the Nazis? 120 lakh, 12 million basically. 120 lakh Jews were killed. Less than 10 survived. This person ran away from that camp, this person ran away from that camp. A few could manage to run away. So what is the ratio of 10 to 120 lakhs? So mostly, if you check the ratio of those who truly believe in God to the masses, who sometimes have a ritualistic understanding of religion, sometimes they have a very negative understanding of God, sometimes God is a punching bag for whatever goes wrong in their life. क्यों हुआ? वो भगवान ने गलत किया. क्यों किया? ओ मेरे ऊपर तो कोई प्रेम ही नहीं करता, right? So for many of us, when tough situations happen in our life, we do not approach God as a book of knowledge, as to gain knowledge from, but we approach God as a punching bag to let go of our vengeance. तो मेरे जीवन में जो बुरा हुआ किसके वजह से हुआ? भगवान की वजह से हुआ. So then I want to punch him, right? But if I say, if I'm a little mature and I say, why would God want to create trouble in a good person's life? Maybe it is my sowing of neem seeds that now I'm getting neem fruits. And instead of punching God and telling him it's because of you that I'm suffering, maybe I should approach God and say, I made a lot of mistakes in my early life, and there was nobody to guide me, there was nobody to tell me what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, and I made a lot of mistakes. Now I'm approaching you for knowledge. Now I'm approaching you. Can I get some guidance from you? Can I learn what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, so that whatever happened, happened. But now, in the future, I don't want any more mistakes. I don't want any more trouble for me. Is that possible? But most people, even if they are religious, most people are not religious, but even if they are religious, God is basically, something to blame on. एक कोई तो चाहिए ना हमारे जीवन में जिसके ऊपर सब ब्लेम कर सकते हैं. जो भी गलत हो रहा है मेरे जीवन में, sometimes it's a relative, sometimes it is the mother-in-law. So you need somebody, right? So कोई तो दोस्त है, कोई भाई है, और if you're religious, then it's God. But real religion is not about blaming God for your problems. Real religion is to accept that directly, indirectly, you are the cause of your problems, and instead of punching God, we should go and ask Him, can you please guide me? Arjun, first chapter keeps on speaking. So he gives 5 reasons not to fight. First reason he says is actually puja arhav arisudana. Their puja arhav. I should offer flowers to my gurus. Guru ko फूल चढ़ाते हैं. You are asking me to shoot arrows? No. Second reason he gives is when you win a war, then you enjoy with your own relatives. And you are asking me to kill those relatives. So if I win, with whom will I enjoy? Swajanam hi katham hatva sukhina syam madhava. Swajanam hi katham hatva. After killing the swajana, how will I be happy? And then he says, after killing them, when I lift the victory cup, as they say, my hands will be tainted with blood. Is that good? Third reason he gives is, isn't killing of your own people sinful? And isn't the punishment for sinful going to hellish planets? So that's wrong. The fourth reason he gives is, when the elderly people in society are killed, the leaders in society are killed, then there is nobody to maintain the traditions in society. Isn't that good? So I will be responsible for destruction of traditions. I will be responsible for the whole society being misguided. Isn't that wrong? It's a very powerful reasons. Very thoughtful reasons. And the fifth reason he gives in the second chapter, he says, actually, honestly, can I tell you, I don't know what is right and right. So after speaking this big philosophy, the fifth reason is, I'm confused. ये भी है, वो भी है, क्या है? So some of the acharyas, they say, reason number 1, reason number 2, reason number 3, reason number 4, reason number 5. And when he had all the 5 reasons, there's like a punch. The Arjun's way of telling, I'm not going to fight. Pash, one finger cannot hurt anybody. But all 5 fingers will come together and they can punch. So Arjun gave a punch to Krishna to not fight against Krishna's will. And in 2.7, because he's confused, after speaking all this Gyan, net effect is confusion. So he says, actually, and because of miserly weakness, karpanya dosha, can you please guide me? So till 2.7, when Arjun changes the relationship, what is the relationship between Krishna and Arjun till 2.7 in Gita? Friend-friend relationship, equals. In 2.7, he says, I become a disciple and you become my guru. So then after that, what is the relationship? I said it, guru-disciple relationship. Right? So then, Krishna says, wait a minute, I'll answer all you. You know what you are saying? They are swajana. They are your people. You are related to them. But are you the body or are you spirit soul? You are the spirit soul. So if you are spirit soul, then your relationship is with me. Atma has relation with Paramatma. Atma doesn't have relation with Bhishma, Drona, right? So you fight. So 2.16 to 2.25, Krishna says, you are Atma, so you should fight. Then Arjun might say, तो अगर मैं आत्मा हूँ, then छोड़ो तो फिर, तो फिर fighting क्यों करो? So then he says, if you say you are the Atma, then you have to listen to me, because Atma has a relationship with Paramatma. And if you say, but right now I am in the body, अभी तो मैं body में हूँ, तो मैं आत्मा नहीं हूँ, तो मैं आपके साथ relationship नहीं है, तो Krishna changes the gear. And he says, if you are the body, then right now you have a Kshatriya body. And the duties of a Kshatriya is to fight. So you should fight. So Arjun is putting a card. Those who play cards, they know that. So एक डाला तो वो उसका card डालता है. Then he plays another card. Then Krishna plays another card, right? So in this way, from 2.7 onwards, Arjun puts his card to not fight. And Krishna puts a greater card to make him fight, right? So in this situation, you come to 2.54. In 2.54, Arjun says, you were talking of somebody who has stable intelligence, Siddha Pragya. So he says, can you please tell me the characteristics of Sthita Pragya? Sthita Pragyasya ka bhasha samadhis tasya keshava sthitadi kim prabhasheta kim asita vrajeta kim. How does the Sthita Pragya, a self-realized soul, how does he walk? How does he talk? How does he sit? How does he move around in this world? And then 2.55 to 2.72, Krishna answers those questions. So in the course of that, one thing is, how does the Sthita Pragya control his senses? This is one of the questions. So in 2.59, Krishna says, what is the right way to control senses? The right way to control senses is not to starve the senses. Huh? Yeah. So get a higher taste. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasovarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. So the whole point of that shloka is nirahara. Nirahar means starve. What happens when you do nirahar? Vinivartante. When you want to do something and you starve yourself, then after some time you do the same thing with greater enthusiasm. Any realization of this? If you're not rightly situated and you do Ekadashi, and on Ekadashi everyone is eating and you say, no, today is Ekadashi, and your eyes are there. And then Dwadashi, morning, and then people, they say, in Marathi there is a saying, द्वादशी के दिन वो ज्यादा खाया उसने, एकादशी के दिन जितना नहीं खाया तो दशमी के दिन जितना नहीं खाया तो ज्यादा खाया. And in Maharashtra, especially some Marathi people, they know something called as Shravan Mas. Right? So what is Shravan? Shravan means no meat, no liquor, no nothing. And what is the last day of Shravan Mas? Anyone? You are all gentlemen. Or the last day, anybody knows?
Is there before.
Huh?
Ghattadi is there before. I don't know.
So people drink whatever they missed for 1 month. And people eat the highest amount what they missed for 1 month. Right? So that is niraharasya dehina. But it happens again. But Krishna is saying, if you get a higher taste, param drishva nivartate. If you get a higher taste, so don't starve. Get a higher taste. And then you can control. So this is 2.59. In 2.61, he says something very interesting. He's talking about control of the senses. He says, Tadi sarvani sanyamya yukta asita mat paraha vashehi yasya indriyani tasya pragya pratishtita. Says, you really want to control your senses? Then he says, Tani sarvani sanyamya, to control them. Yukta asita mat paraha. He says, actually the real thing is, you join yourself with me. Mere bhakt ban jao. So why am I bringing this here? Till 2.7 they are friends. And there it is only punching happening. Arjuna is punching him with his 5 reasons. At one point of time he understands, but punching God, no help. Situation solved nahi ho raha hai. Sirf punching ka satisfaction mil raha hai. In 2.7 he surrenders. And then he said teacher-student relationship. So teacher said, you should do like this. You should do like this. You should walk on the path of self-realization, right? But when the question comes to controlling the senses, actually Krishna tells him to get a higher taste, but then he knows how to get a higher taste. So the teacher, who is actually the Supreme Lord, at one point of time was being misunderstood as an equal. And equality led to punching. But it did not lead to answers. So he surrendered. And surrender led to a change in the relationship to teacher-student relationship. But a teacher is not just a teacher. The teacher is actually the most well-wishing friend. He's a surut. He's a well-wishing friend. So क्या हो गया? Teacher के role में बिना बोलते बोलते he came to that point of controlling the senses. So he wanted to say you should control your senses, but then he said, you know what is the real sustainable way to control senses? It is not to not eat. It is not to don't eat this and don't eat that. It's actually to be connected to Krishna and eat prasad. Yukta asita matpara. So, gyan dete dete, it's like the teacher is telling the student the path to self-realization. But while telling the student the path of self-realization, Krishna ended up speaking in 2.61, I am not just the teacher of the path of self-realization, I am the goal of the path of self-realization. So teacher is telling the student, ये रास्ता ऐसा जाता है, लेकिन बोलते बोलते गलती से बोल दिए वो कि ये रास्ता जाके मुझे मिलना है तुझे. So that's a very, very sweet shloka in the Gita, where for the first time in the Gita, Krishna hints that it's not that he's just giving knowledge, he's not just an intelligent person, he's the goal of all yoga, he's the goal of all sadhana, he's the goal of all karma, jnana, dhyana, and bhakti yoga. So when we hear this, we feel, Rohit, this sounds very difficult. To always be remembering Krishna, to always be dependent on Krishna. Mana mana bhav, always remember Krishna, always be thankful to Krishna, always be grateful to Krishna. But we should always remember, if we want to escape the concentration camp of Maya Devi, we'll have to do the undoable, and we'll have to plan the unthinkable, and we'll have to execute the unexecutable if you want to escape. Otherwise, 120 lakh Jews to hai. So everyone is being roasted. If you want to escape, either you get roasted or you say, Prabhuji, karte hain. Surrender kar dete hain. Surrender sounds hard, right? Surrender sounds difficult. And nobody around us is surrendering. You see many people surrendering to Krishna. So most people are rejecting Krishna. Some people are punching Krishna because they accept Krishna. But most people don't even accept Krishna. But some people who accept Krishna, they're punching Krishna. And some people, they may not be punching Krishna, but they're okay, let him be happy where he is and I'm happy where I am. Very few people are actually seeing Krishna not just as a person who is wise, who is intelligent, but they are seeing Krishna as the goal of their life. So Krishna's Gita is not just to become a wise person. Krishna's Gita is to surrender our heart at the lotus feet of Krishna. So karma, jnana and dhyana, they do not teach us to surrender to Krishna. Karma, jnana and dhyana are paths on the advancement, spiritual advancement. But bhakti yoga is the only which point blank says, you know what, don't do all these breathing exercises and keep reading books and all. The real thing is to surrender your heart to Krishna. And that sounds very difficult. Because the word surrender, to put your sir under the feet of somebody, is a very scary concept. Because in the material world, whenever we put trust on anybody, kind of surrender, I can say in most of the cases we got cheated. I trusted my friend one time, I got cheated. It's possible that I trusted a teacher, I got cheated. So many times we hear that somebody got into a business relationship with a friend and that friend cheated. Right? So now surrender mat bolo, friendship अच्छा लगता है सुनने के लिए, but friendship can be done on our terms. But the goal of Gita is not to lead our life on our terms. The goal of Gita is to actually lead our life on Krishna's terms. So it would be injustice to not tell you this fact. But it is also injustice to force you to accept this fact. But the real thing is, I need to tell you that the goal of life is not just to have the knowledge of the Gita, but the real goal of life is to actually surrender yourself to Krishna and live our life on His terms. What does He want from me? What is His expectations from me? This is what is actually the message of the Gita. This is what is the goal of the whole process. One professor of Hinduism, he came and met Srila Prabhupada. And he said, what is your understanding of Hinduism? So Prabhupada said, you are a professor of Hinduism. You tell me. He said, I don't know. He said, you are a professor and you don't know. What are you teaching then? No, that's not what I meant. What I meant is, Hinduism is so broad and there are so many paths in Hinduism that it's difficult for me to pinpoint something, that this is Hinduism. This is also Hinduism, that is also Hinduism, everything is Hinduism from that perspective. So that's what is your idea of Hinduism? So Prabhupada again said, if you are a professor of Hinduism, you may know different paths, but you have to know the essence of Hinduism. He said, no, I don't know, you tell me, na. Aap itne Swami ji, to aap batao. You know what Prabhupada said? The essence of Hinduism, he said, the essence of Hinduism is to surrender to God. And then he quoted Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. The professor refused. The surrender to God is not there, because that is also Hinduism. Karma kand is there in Hinduism, yes. To have a business relationship with devatas. I give you this upavas, you give me this. I give you so much Shravan Somvar, and you give me this. It's the whole business relationship with God and all the devatas. So Prabhupada said no. That's not the essence of Hinduism. The essence of Hinduism is to take Sharan. So then he said, what is the meaning of Sharan? Prabhupada said, that's what I'm telling you. The essence of Hinduism is to surrender to God. The Sharan, Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. The word Sharan actually means surrender. That's what I'm telling you. He said, no, what is the etymological meaning of Sharan? You know what's etymological meaning? Every word has some root. So etymological meaning is what is the root of that. In Sanskrit, it's called dhatu. Every single word in Sanskrit has a dhatu. What is the dhatu word for the word bhakti? Anybody knows? Is bhaja dhatu. Bhaja means to serve. So bhaja word एक है, उसमें से bhakti word आता है. The art of pleasing somebody or serving somebody is called bhakti. Bhaga means opulence. So Bhagavan is the possessor of opulence, and Bhagyavan is the person who's linked to that Bhagavan. So Bhagavat, the book Bhagavat means this is a book of Bhagavan. And that's why the devotee is also called Bhagavat, because the devotee is also connected to Bhagavan. So if you know the root, then you can derive unlimited words. It makes a very rich language. So he's saying, what is the etymological meaning of Sharan? Prabhupada said, you don't need a guru, you need a Sanskrit professor. Because you don't want to understand. Sharanam means surrender. You are saying the etymological meaning kya hai Sharan ka? Right? So it's very interesting that Prabhupada could see that the essence of Hinduism is actually Sharan, is to take surrender. Right? Any one of you saw the latest movie, Mahavatar Narasimha? So some of them have seen. Till Prahlad is tested, who is the greatest personality in the universe? Everyone is standing there. Visibly, all the devatas are there on the steps to the Singhasana. In the Bhagavatam, who's telling the story of Narasimha? Anybody knows? Who's narrating it? Narad Muni is speaking to Yudhishthir, because Yudhishthir asks a question to Narad Muni at the end of the 6th canto, that it appears that Vishnu is biased. So, in his answer to the question, is Vishnu biased? Narad Muni tells him the story कि अपने दुश्मन के बेटे को बचाया तो biased व्यक्ति कभी दुश्मन के बेटे को नहीं बचाता है. So that whole story is in response to the accusations on Vishnu that Vishnu is biased. He always takes the side of the devatas. So इसे वो story बताते हैं. So Narad Muni is telling that story, and in the course of telling the story, he says, do you know this Hiranyakashipu captured all the devatas also, and then he says, actually I was also there. Narad Muni is also there. So now you wonder, how can a pure Mahabhagavat devotee like Narad Muni, how can he become a servant of Hiranyakashipu? Any thoughts on this? How can he become? Yeah. So now do you want to think? You know why? Any one of you knows how to play a musical instrument? Any harmonium or something? You saw somebody playing harmonium? So they are playing the keys, right? And when you play the keys, na, on the other side there are some wooden, they rise. इधर दबाएंगे तो उधर ऊपर. तो उससे वो sound आता है, right? The keys, the fingers are going here, but the sound is coming from there. But how is the sound coming from there? यहाँ पे तो वो ऊपर उठता है. So it's called reeds. उसको reed बोलते हैं. The reeds are playing exactly as per the fingers. Now, anyone of you has seen Kirtan performance? कभी सुना? The singer is singing and somebody is playing the mridanga and the kartal. What if the singer starts singing fast? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, and the mridanga is going slow. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. They went fast, right? And what if this person is going slow? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. No, he is playing fast. You say, wait, right? The mridanga player should follow the kirtaniya. The mridanga is supposed to follow the singer. He should never overpower the singer. Right? So similarly, pure devotees like Narad Muni, they never overpower the will of the Lord. भगवान जैसे हारमोनियम बजा रहे हैं, अरे ये हिरण्यकश्यपु है, he is able to do all this. Do you think he has bypassed the laws of the Lord? Sometimes we get that thought. अरे इतना अनर्थ चल रहा है दुनिया में, इतना गलत चल रहा है, भगवान है कि नहीं? Narad Muni never thought like that. Narad Muni is saying this is a plan of the Lord, because when you want to make a point, how can God make a point, a strong point, by using a weak person? A weak person, when he falls down, what is the point there? But when somebody like Hiranyakashipu, I cannot die inside, I cannot die outside, I cannot die up, I cannot die down. When that person was ripped open, no, that made a strong point. You cannot stand in front of God as superior, right? तो अभी तक हम लोग इतने सत्ययुग में वो अभी तक गा रहे हैं वो सूर्य नरसिंह भगवान की जय. But if it was an ordinary person and the Lord descends and rips him up, तो लोग बोलेंगे उसमें क्या? वो तो शेर भी करता है. तो नरसिम्हा क्यों लगा? His body was like a shila, like a stone. Stone-like body was ripped open by a. So when Hiranyakashipu is rising to power, when Hiranyakashipu is becoming invincible, everyone is saying, "Bhagwan hai kya? Bhagwan so gaya kya?" All that. But Narad Muni is thinking, he has a plan. And what should the reeds of a harmonium do? Act as per the player. How should the mridanga player play mridanga? As per the singer. Narad Muni is cooperating with the will of the Lord, and that's why Narad Muni, without any doubts about the power of the Lord, is also becoming servant to Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu is getting that ego. Narad Muni को भी काम में लगा है, सब्जी कटने के लिए. Narad Muni is cutting sabji, Surya is cutting sabji, and Shani is on the steps. Royal चल रहा था हिरण्यकशिपु का ego trip. But if Narad Muni would have said, "Hey, मैं वैष्णव हूँ, I have faith in God, I don't believe in this drama. 4 दिन की चांदनी है तेरी, बाद में भगवान आएंगे मार देंगे." The drama would have stopped there, and Hiranyakashipu would have done something nasty. So this is why Narad Muni also goes there, right? So my point is, even Narad Muni has to listen to Hiranyakashipu. So who's the greatest in the universe till that point of time? Hiranyakashipu, right? When does this equation change? When does this sentence change? The greatest person in the world is Hiranyakashipu. When does it change? The first, visibly. But I'll tell you something. The first time when Prahlad was tortured is the day when that equation changed. You know why? Because Prahlad was put in front of elephants, and elephants did not kill him. And Prahlad didn't even do anything. His hands are tied, his legs are tied, but he's just praying. And elephants come and they bow down to him. Something changed. On one side is Hiranyakashipu, उसके सामने सूर्य चंद्र सब लोग bend कर रहे हैं, और वो एक छोटे से 5 साल के बच्चे को मारने की कोशिश कर रहा है. And that बच्चा has his hands tied like this, but the elephants bowed down in front of him. So there is some strength here. What strength? I don't know. There is some strength here, right? Bali Maharaj and Shukracharya. Bali dies in one battle with the Devatas, and Shukracharya gives him Mrita Sanjeevani and makes him alive. Shukracharya brings Bali back to life. Can you imagine bringing a dead person back to life? So he is great. Then what happens? One day Vaman Dev comes. Vaman Dev asks for 3 steps. Then Bali Maharaj says, "Don't you have intelligence?" He says, "I'm satisfied with 3 steps. Give me 3 steps." So he gives 3 steps. The Shukracharya says, "Wait! Don't give to him." And we say, "Yeah, makes sense. He's so intelligent and he brought him back to life." But he says, "Kyun? He's Vishnu. He's come to cheat you." Really, he's Vishnu? That's the goal of life, right? To offer everything to Vishnu. My grandfather told me, Prahlad told me, जब कभी कुछ देना है तो विष्णु को देना. I am so fortunate. The whole world goes to the temple of Vishnu to give. That Vishnu has come walking to my doorstep and saying, "Give, give, give." What else? This is my greatest fortune. He said, "You fool, you will become a beggar in 2 moments if you don't listen to me." He said, "Sorry, but I can't listen to you. My grandfather taught me Vishnu is the person to give." He said, "Please take 3 steps of land." And he takes everything. And what is the face of Bali Maharaj? What is Bali's thinking? What is everything offered to Vishnu. So, till Bali was tested, who was the greatest person in the universe? Shukracharya. Does anybody have the power to bring back a dead person back to life? Shukracharya. When did this equation change? When Bali surrendered, going against the Lord Shukracharya, right? So why I am saying this is this kind of extreme tests that a devotee undergoes is very important and very necessary to change the conception in the hearts of people about what is right and what is wrong, what is great and what is not so great. So before Prahlad was tested, the first test, whatever it was Holika, it was elephants, fire, snakes, throwing him off, whatever it was. Before the first step, physical power was being worshipped, was the greatest. But that day the equation changed. Spiritual faith became powerful than physical power. Till the day Bali surrendered, magical power was greatest. Rise, oh dead Bali. And he rose. Oh, he was being worshipped. But when Bali surrendered, the mood of selfless surrender to Vishnu became greatest. Another story in the Bhagavatam. We have a few minutes. There was a king called Ambarish. And Ambarish Maharaj is a very, very ordinary person, ruling, traveling on elephants, has a queen, has a palace, and so on. So a typical king. But he did upavas for 1 year. Ekadashi upavas for 1 year for helping his praja. He did upavas, but he wants to give the benefits of that upavas to his praja. And after doing that, one day, Durvasa Rishi comes to his palace. And as a very nice gentlemanly grihastha, he says, you also please take prasad. He says, yes, but I want to take a bath and I want to chant my Gayatri. So he goes for a bath and he's taking too much time. The time for breaking the fast is going. So what to do? 1 साल का उपवास बर्बाद हो जाएगा. So he takes 2 drops of water. He does not take a feast. 2 drops of water. Just to break the fast. It's breaking the fast also. And because he did not take anna, he did not take grains, it's not breaking the fast also. And he's still waiting, humbly. But meanwhile, Durvasa Rishi there, while he's taking a bath, he understands by mystic power, he's taken 2 drops of water. What is the mistake of taking 2 drops of water, not taken grains? Is it a big mistake? What does Durvasa Rishi give to him? Mrityu Dandat. You must. He takes some hair, puts it on the ground. There's a demon which comes, attacks Ambarish. Fiery demon produced by 2 hair. ये क्या पावर है? स्नान करते करते समझ में आ गया कि इसने पानी पिया. कैसे पता चला? That's great. But what is Ambarish's response? Folds his hands. He does not take out a sword to kill the demon. He does not take out the sword of his tongue to counter curse Durvasa Rishi. He folds his hand. And because he folds his hand, he is not doing anything in protection. There is a Sudarshan Chakra that comes. First, the Sudarshan Chakra kills the demon. And then it turns around. And then looks at Durvasa. Durvasa is a sadhu. While offering bhoga to the Lord, anybody offers bhoga at home? Anyone offers? What mantra do you chant? Anybody wants to share? No? Yeah.
We pray to Guru first.
Yeah, but last Krishna.
Namo
Ko-
Brahmane
Yeah.
Devaya.
So there is that word, no, Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. Go, गाय और ब्राह्मण का हित करते हैं कृष्ण भगवान. So he is not a Brahman. He is the head of the Brahmana. He is sannyasi. Brahman is Varna and Ashram. So Varna means Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. And Ashram means Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. 4 Varnas and 4 Ashrams. So the head of the Varna is the Brahman, but the head of the Varnashram is the sannyasi, who's at the topmost. So Durvasa Rishi is not a Brahman, and Krishna Mataji is saying, Go Brahman Hitaya Cha. He is always a well-wisher of the Brahmanas. And Durvasa Rishi is a sannyasi. So should he be Hitachintak of Durvasa or should be a destroyer of Durvasa? Sudarshan Chakra ring behind. So what happened? Till now, who was the greatest? Durvasa Rishi was the greatest. Why? He's a Brahman. He's a sannyasi. He's a power. He's mystic. He reads the minds of others. He knows what happens there. But then what happened? Ambarish was attacked. And Ambarish surrendered. Prahlad surrendered. Bali surrendered. So we think surrender, I don't know how much powerful it is. It changed the equation of Hiranyakashipu. It changed the equation of Shukracharya. And in this situation, it changed the equation of Durvasa Rishi. So Sudarshan is chasing behind Durvasa. And the meaning of the darshan is vision. Sudarshan means beautiful vision. So Prabhupada writes there, the meaning of the word Sudarshan is right vision, correct vision. So the Sudarshan Chakra is giving us the right vision of who is nice and who is not nice. It's not by the clothes. Durvasa Rishi has detached clothes, but he's so egoistic. मुझे बिना पूछे 2 बूंद पानी कैसे पी सकते हैं? मृत्यु दंड दूंगा तुमको. On one side is a grihastha king, apparently enjoying a palace and all the facilities. His heart is surrendered at the lotus feet of the Lord. He's saying, Krishna is remembering Krishna for protection. No sword. A sipai, khatam kar do isko, no. Right? And the sweet surrender of Prahlad changed the equation. The sweet surrender of Bali changed the equation. Sweet surrender of Ambarish changed the equation. So that Sudarshan Chakra is behind Durvasa. And Durvasa goes to Indra. Can you help me? Goes to Brahma. Can you help me? No. Goes to Shiva. Can you help me? No. फिर अभी क्या करेंगे? So Shankar ji tells him, a Sudarshan Chakra is Vishnu's weapon. So he go to Vishnu. So he goes to Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means Vigataha Kuntha Yasmat. Iti Vaikuntha. Vigataha means from there Kuntha, anxiety has gone away. There is no anxiety in Vaikuntha. So he goes to the land of no anxiety. Completely anxious. Sudarshan Chakra is behind him, is sweating in Vaikuntha. तो हमको क्यों वैकुंठ जाना है? सर प्रभु जी पक गया अभी टेंशन लीजिए मैं वैकुंठ में जाके I'll be happy. Durvasa Rishi, he went to Vaikuntha but is completely in pain. He is in mental agony. Can you imagine the mistake that Durvasa did, that it changed the nature of Vaikuntha? How interesting this is. So in front of Lord Vishnu, he's in anxiety. Arey bachao, bachao, bachao. And the first words Lord Vishnu says is, Aham bhakta paradhina hi aswatantra iva dvija sadhu bhir grasta hridayo bhaktair bhakta jana priya. First line he says, Aham bhakta paradhina. I am dependent on my devotees. Hi aswatantra iva dvija. I am not independent. Then he says, Sadhu bhir grasta hridayo. Those who are saintly people, they have captured me in their heart. And then he's saying, what to speak of devotees? Bhaktair bhakta jana priya. The devotees of my devotees are also dear to me. What to speak of devotees? So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Srivas Thakur, Srivas, you are so dear to me. The dog in your home is also dear to me. Can you imagine the dog is there in Srivas Thakur's home? Uski ko priya hai wo. Bhaktair bhakta jana priya. तो ये जब सुनते हैं Durvasa Rishi, he says, my God, I was thinking only God is to be worshipped. And today I don't know what I did. So he's saying, Ajanata te paramanubhavam kritam mayagam bhavatah priyana. Ajanata means I didn't know. Paramanubhavam, I didn't know your nature. Your nature is you love your devotees and you love the devotees of your devotees. I thought I should just respect you, but I can hurt this Ambarish. But कृतम मयागम भवतः प्रियाणाम, आपको जो प्रिय है उसको मैंने अटैक कर दिया. My God, I didn't know. I don't know your nature. So what to do now? He says, I cannot do much. You want beg his forgiveness. वो नीचे आता है. तभी तक वो सुदर्शन चक्र पीछे ही है. फिर नीचे आता है. Can you imagine? He came back. Ambarish Maharaj is still waiting for him to take food. 1 more year. This whole journey of Durvasa takes 1 year because he goes to the higher planets. And then when he comes back, Sudarshan Chakra is there. So Ambarish He's now praying to Sudarshan Chakra. No, he's a nice person. He didn't have it. That's the time the Sudarshan Chakra goes. And this whole story is what by Durvasa. He said, what am I doing here? I am supposed to be worshipped. I am supposed to be detached. I am supposed to be no ego. And this Grihastha king is no ego and he's my well-wisher. And then he says, I am really, really overwhelmed. Aho ananta lasana mahatvam drishta madhyame krita gasopi yadrajan mangalani samihase. I tried to kill you, but you are still my well-wisher. Mangalani samihase. You prayed to Sudarshan Chakra, to Vishnu bhi nahi kar rahe the kuch karke. So today, we are discussing the power of surrender. And we started by saying, if we change our face, then we don't recognize the Lord. Not that the Lord doesn't recognize us. And we put on a mask that actually I am not a servant. I am not the one who's going to surrender. I am the one who's going to enjoy. But the news is, we are being roasted by Maya Devi. And in the drama, producer is the Lord, Maya Devi is the director, and our karma is the script writer, and Devatas are the clap boy. But basically, it's a concentration camp. And then what did Stanislavski Lech have to do to escape the concentration camp? He had to do which nobody can think of doing. Nobody else was doing. And he would have mentioned to somebody, chalo ek kaam karte hain, ye dead bodies ke upar hum log jump karte hain. And that's our road to freedom. People must have laughed on him. Bole, pagal ho gaya kya? On those dead bodies? Unthinkable, undoable. But he said, if that is what it takes for freedom, I'm ready to do it. Similarly, when we talk, you know what? We should offer our heart to Bhagwan. कुछ नहीं रखने का अपने पास. We should offer our heart to Krishna. We should offer our thoughts to Krishna. We should offer our tongue to Krishna. We should offer our eyes to Krishna. We should offer our nose to Krishna. We should offer our eye. People, अपने लिए भी जीना सीखो. मतलब सुबह थोड़ा भक्ति करना चाहिए, थोड़ा अच्छा लगता है. Be practical. और संडे को थोड़ा सा जाने का, थोड़ा प्रसाद खाने का, थोड़ा करने का, लेकिन अपना जीवन भी जीना चाहिए, right? It is actually surrender to Krishna. Is that unthinkable thing, undoable thing, which people, even when they believe in Krishna, they will not actually recommend it and they will not actually ask you to do it. But if you really want to escape the concentration camp, you have to do something that nobody has done. And what is the power of this sweet surrender to Krishna? That is exemplified by Prahlad. That is exemplified by Bali. That is exemplified by Ambarish Maharaj. So it seems very difficult, but it is doable because Krishna is waiting with his broad, wide arms, waiting to embrace us. So instead of Arjun, giving those 5 reasons and punching, we also have our own reasons. Right now in 2025, थोड़ा मेरे health का problem चल रहा है. थोड़ा मैं उसको sort out कर लूँगा. 2026, just see how many rounds I chant. Just see how serious I become. And then when 2026 comes, your health problems be sorted out because you prayed to Krishna. Then financial problem starts. So 2026, ये थोड़ा financial problem चलो sort out करता हूँ. 2027 I surrender to Krishna. When 2027 comes, then there is some family problem. So financial problem solve हो गया, health problem. But ये तो family problem है थोड़ा सा. इसको मैं थोड़ा sort out करता हूँ. 2028 में surrender करूँगा. ऐसे करते there's a beautiful sentence by His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. Radhanath Maharaj says, Maya Devi fools the non-devotee and tells him to never surrender to Krishna. And the same Maya Devi fools the devotee by asking him to postpone his surrender to Krishna. So never postpone the surrender to Krishna. Today is that golden day when you offer a prayer to Krishna. Krishna, I am yours. Please tell me what to do. You guide me what to do. Through some shloka, through some lecture, through some words. You know what? I am tired of having a business relationship with God. मैं आपके लिए ये करूँगा, आप मेरे लिए करना. वो आपने कम किया, तो मैं माला भी कम करूँगा. Right? You don't know how deep-rooted. This whole business mentality now is so deep-rooted. मुझे क्या मिलेगा? ये बताओ. तो क्या मिलेगा आपको? आपको भगवान से नहीं कुछ मिलेगा. आपको भगवान मिलेंगे. That's the only reason to chant Hare Krishna. Why? Not for peace. We don't chant Hare Krishna for peace. We don't chant Hare Krishna for auspiciousness. We don't chant Hare Krishna for health. We don't chant Hare Krishna to pull the beats. We chant Hare Krishna because it pleases Krishna. When the child calls out to the mother, "Mummy," the mother, the dependence of the child on the mother is such a happy feeling to the child, to the mother. So why do we chant Hare Krishna? Not to ask for peace, not to ask for health, not to ask for anything else. I'm yours. So if I'm yours, please give me something. What? Some seva, some opportunity to please you. I don't want wealth. I don't want anything from you. I want you. So let us, make that simple prayer to Krishna that can I offer myself to you? Can I offer my thoughts to you? Can I offer my heart to you? That it's difficult. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's really very sweet. You really feel the strength by surrendering to it. You don't become weak. In this world, when you surrender to somebody, you become a weak person. And how do you show you are strong? By never surrendering. Hey, you show your loud voice and you show your strong body. You say, I'll never surrender to anybody. That's my strength. In the spiritual world, you show your strength by surrendering. Because nobody is surrendering to Krishna, you're surrendering. It takes a lot of courage to invest your emotions, your thoughts in the Supreme Lord and try to please the Supreme Lord. So only the strong people can surrender to Krishna. The weak people cannot surrender to Krishna. They are afraid. But that's why we should hear the Shastras. That's why we should associate with devotees who can tell us how Prahlad did not become weak by surrendering. He outdid Hiranyakashipu. Bali did not become weak by surrendering to Vishnu. He outdid Shukracharya. Ambarish, by folding his hands, did not become weak. He became a golden example. So this is few thoughts on how we should offer our hearts to Krishna. So thank you very much, Hare Krishna. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. Thank you.